When I was as a detective, I'd be like solving murders that I'm committing myself.
I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died. And I didn't even cry, not a single tear.
Word on the block is wild right now. People are whispering that David's own mom is gearing up to step into the spotlight and speak on the crime. The streets are saying she's convinced her son actually did it. But here's the twist. She's also low-key defending him, trying to spin why he might have done what he supposedly did. That's a plot twist nobody had on their bingo card. But here's what got everybody scratching their heads. Why is she speaking out before the police even cuff David or name him a suspect? Does she know something we don't? Or is this just a sneaky move in some behind-the-scenes damage control strategy? Either way, it's messy and loud. Every single day, this David saga gets crazier. But hearing that his mom might break her silence, that's the weirdest chapter yet. Think about it. The cops haven't made an official move. David's not arrested, and he hasn't even been confirmed as a person of interest. But his mom suddenly wants to tell her side? That screams timing with an agenda. Fans online are convinced she's not just talking randomly. They believe this is her trying to clean up her son's image before the walls close in. It's almost like she's running PR duty for him, setting the stage to explain his behavior and smooth over the fallout, damage control, family loyalty, or maybe she knows a whole lot more than the rest of us. Either way, her stepping in now has everyone on edge. We've all seen it before. Somebody close to the accused steps up and starts painting a sob story. He was bullied. He had a tough childhood. Nobody understood him. The whole sympathy parade. Fans are already betting that's exactly what's about to happen with David's mom stepping up to talk. But here's the question that's got everyone buzzing. What dark parts of David's past could really explain what he allegedly did to Celeste? For starters, David was never the kid blending in at school. Word is he was a loner from early on. He got pulled out and homeschooled, with rumors saying it was because bullies were on him heavy. And while that move might have been meant to protect him, it only left him more cut off from everybody. No classmates, no social circle, just walls and silence. Even David himself once admitted he lived through people he watched online, following strangers' lives like they were his own. That's not just lonely, that's obsession territory. And when his family packed up and left Queens for Houston after 8th grade, he lost whatever real connections he had left. From there, his whole world shrank down to video games and a screen glow. That kind of isolation during your teenage years can twist anybody's sense of self. Most teens build their identity hanging with friends, learning social cues, figuring out who they are. David, he missed all that. Instead, fans say he built up cold walls, with many convinced he developed what looks like an anti-social streak. In plain talk, people are calling him out as having sociopath vibes. It's no shock people are calling David a sociopath. Because let's be real, only someone cold-blooded could pull off what the internet is accusing him of. And the receipts from his own interviews aren't making things look any better. In one sit-down, David admitted flat out, "I was always looking for outlets to escape reality. As a child, I never wanted to read a book or do anything extracurricular. And my mom always hated it because she thought video games would rot my brain. But really, that's where my love of narrative and storytelling came from." David explained how he spent endless hours locked into games, obsessed with the way characters grew and fell apart. He said it shaped him, but in the same breath admitted that after leaving public school, nobody hit him up, so he had to learn to be his own friend. That loneliness. Fans say it wasn't just a phase, it was the seed of something darker. And here's the wildest part. David basically confessed that he never had his own personality. His exact words? "Games affect my music in a major way. I was so attached to those characters that I was a personality sponge. I would watch these characters and think they were so cool, so I'd base my personality off of the next game I played and then the next one. I love living vicariously through people, like in video games, movies, and TV shows." That's chilling. People online say that's not inspiration, that's emptiness. And emptiness is exactly what has fans convinced his behavior towards Celeste lines up with sociopathy. It's all coming back to haunt him now because people are rewatching those old interviews and they're hitting different, giving folks goosebumps. Take his March chat with Mahogany, where he admitted his song Romantic Homicide was inspired by a made-up character named Atami, which in Japanese means pain. He described Atami as an agent of chaos, a shadowy figure that wrecks everything in sight. David even admitted he had been plotting an anime where a detective battles his own evil alter ego. Fans can't help but wonder, Was that character just fiction? Or was David secretly revealing the darkness inside himself all along? Here's the twist that's haunting fans. In David's anime concept, the alter ego wasn't just a shadow. He was the one pulling the trigger, committing the murders, while the detective scrambled to solve crimes his darker self had already carried out. Back then, everybody brushed it off as just art, a moody metaphor from a young artist flexing his creativity. But now, with a real homicide on the table and Celeste's body discovered inside his Tesla, those old stories feel way too close to reality. People are asking the question no one wants to say out loud: was Itami just fiction? Or was David basically dropping confessions in plain sight? Every old interview, every line about his alter ego is being replayed and dissected frame by frame online, and the parallels are chilling. The deeper fans dig, the harder it is to ignore how blurred the line between David and his so-called alter ego might have been. And then came the moment that flipped the internet upside down: the Tesla discovery. That's when this story went from messy gossip to a nightmare criminal case. Police were called to a Los Angeles tow yard after workers reported a disgusting foul smell coming from an impounded black Tesla.
Officers were called to the tow yard over a foul odor coming from the Tesla, which had been sitting in the lot for several days.
When detectives cracked open the front trunk, they didn't just find trash, they uncovered something straight out of a horror film: a dismembered body, wrapped tight in plastic, hidden like a dirty secret he thought would never be found. Days later, the coroner confirmed the worst. It was Celeste Rivas, missing since April 2024, just 15 years old. The mystery was no longer a what if, it was terrifyingly real. And then came the detail that shook everyone even more. TMZ dropped the bomb that Celeste had a tiny tattoo on her finger, the same design David was first spotted with in photos back in September. That eerie connection left fans spiraling, and right in the middle of it, Celeste's family finally broke their silence. Celeste's sister came back online with a heartbreaking post that shook the internet. On her reactivated Instagram, she wrote, "Celeste was only 15 years old. She should still be here with us. She trusted someone who didn't protect her, and now she's gone." Within hours, the post exploded. Over 1 million views in less than a day, and it lit the fire all over again. The hashtag Justice for Celeste surged back into trending status, fueled by anger, grief, and a desperate cry for truth. Then came the mom's revelation, one that hit like a gut punch. She had long suspected her daughter's secret boyfriend was none other than David. When photos surfaced showing him with that same tattoo on his finger, it confirmed her worst fears. For the family, it wasn't just tragedy anymore. It was betrayal staring them in the face. And here's where things get darker. This wasn't the first time Celeste vanished. Police confirmed she had gone missing back in January, only to be tracked down a month later in the Hollywood Hills, dangerously close to David's own neighborhood. Teachers later admitted she had already been messaging him online by that point. By April, she disappeared again. But this time, she never came back. What once looked like the reckless choices of a troubled teen now feels like the chilling setup to something much more sinister. And if that wasn't enough to send chills down spines, fans started digging into David's music catalog. What they uncovered made the internet freeze. Lyrics across not just romantic homicide, but even his unreleased tracks that seemed to reference Celeste directly. Were these songs just art or disturbing breadcrumbs he'd been leaving in plain sight the whole time? Then came the bombshell no one was ready for. A leaked track from 2023 where David straight up name drops Celeste. The lyrics are so on the nose, it's chilling. Almost like he was writing out the whole twisted story before it even hit the headlines. One verse went, "Oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest, smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath, I'm obsessed." If that wasn't enough, another leaked bar hit even darker. "Afraid you'll only love me when undressed, but you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. Missing you so much makes me depressed." Hearing those words now, fans are losing it. The eerie overlap between the music and Celeste's real life is impossible to ignore. With so many threads tying David directly to her, the theory online is that his mom's sudden move to speak out isn't random at all. Fans are convinced she's laying the groundwork for sympathy. painting him as a troubled soul so that when the case finally explodes in court, police and prosecutors might go easier on him. Trouble is, those lyrics sound less like art and more like a confession hiding in plain sight. The leaked lyrics lit the internet on fire, and the backlash was instant. Fans weren't just disturbed, they were outraged. People flooded timelines demanding answers, saying this wasn't coincidence or art anymore. This was evidence hiding in plain sight. "He was telling us the whole time," one fan wrote, while another blasted, "Those lyrics read like a diary, not a song." Twitter threads went viral with fans breaking down every bar, pointing out eerie connections between his verses and Celeste's real life. The tattoo, the obsession, even the depression he claimed in his music. The idea that David might have been turning real events into his storytelling has people calling it sinister, almost like he was mocking the truth through his art. What's making the outrage worse is the timing of his mom suddenly wanting to speak. To many, it feels like damage control on overdrive, a way to soften the blow before investigators start connecting the dots. Some fans flat out accused her of trying to manipulate public sympathy, with one viral comment saying she's not defending her son, she's prepping his legal excuse. Meanwhile, critics are urging police to treat the songs as potential confessions instead of dismissing them as creative writing. Commentators are even comparing the situation to famous cases where killers left clues in music, journals, or art. The pressure is building, and fans aren't letting this one slide. Hashtags calling for David's arrest are climbing, and the narrative around him is spiraling out of control. At this point, the David story isn't just gossip, it's a full-blown storm. The interviews, the alter ego, the tattoos, the missing reports, the leaked tracks, every single piece keeps stacking up, painting a darker picture than anyone imagined. And now, with fans dissecting his lyrics like evidence, the pressure on investigators is louder than ever. What started as whispers online has spiraled into a movement. Celeste's name is everywhere. Her family's pain is echoing across social media, and the internet isn't letting this fade. Every new leak, every resurfaced clip, every old interview feels like another piece of a puzzle that might finally force authorities to act. But the scariest part, even with all these signs, we still don't have all the answers. Was David confessing through his music, or are people connecting dots that shouldn't be connected? Did his mom step in out of love, or is she hiding secrets the public hasn't heard yet? And how deep does this story really go? One thing's for sure, Celeste deserves justice, and the world deserves the truth. Until then, this case is far from over, and every new detail will be under the microscope. And if you want the raw breakdowns, the wild theories, and the updates the mainstream won't touch, you already know where to be. Right here on BarzBuzz, where the real stories live.